All right, let's talk about something we all know and hate, procrastination. You know that feeling, right? You have that one big, important thing you have to do, and yet you find yourself doing literally anything else. We always beat ourselves up for it, thinking it's a lack of discipline, some kind of personal failure. But what if I told you that's not it at all? What if the real reason is hiding inside your brain's own chemistry? Let's get into it.
I mean, come on, you've been here. The deadline is breathing down your neck. That single, crucial task is staring you in the face. And suddenly, you're overcome with an incredible, undeniable urge to deep clean your entire kitchen. We call it productive procrastination, right? And we feel so guilty about it. But listen, I'm here to tell you to stop. This isn't about you being lazy. This is your biology at work.
So let's just get this straight, right here, right now, because this is the most important thing to understand. Procrastination is not a character flaw. You're not a bad person for putting things off. You are simply in a specific neurochemical state, a state scientists call an amotivated state. And here's the game-changing part. If it's a state, that means it's not permanent. And if it's not permanent, that means we can change it.
To figure out how to change that state, we got to talk about one of the most famous molecules in our brain, dopamine. Now, you've probably heard it called the pleasure molecule, but that's not really the whole story. It's way more accurate to call it the molecule of motivation. Dopamine is the thing in your brain that says, hey, go get that. It's what drives us. And it is the absolute key to solving this whole procrastination puzzle. Okay, so here's a concept from neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman that is just critical. It's the dopamine peak and trough cycle. Think of it like a motivation sugar crash. You do something easy and rewarding, you scroll social media, you eat a cookie, and boom, you got a quick spike of dopamine. That's the peak. But our brains love balance. So for every peak, it creates a trough where your dopamine level drops below where you even started. And here's the kicker. The higher that peak, the deeper and longer the trough is going to be.
So let's just walk through this trap. You're feeling a little unmotivated, so you grab your phone for a quick hit of something fun. That's step one, your dopamine peak. But then you put the phone down and bam, you fall right into that trough. Your baseline level of motivation is now actually lower than it was before. You feel that crash, and now you're in a full-blown amotivated state. That big task you were avoiding, it now feels impossible. And that urge to just pick up your phone again for another quick peek becomes overwhelming. You see the cycle? It just keeps you stuck.
Okay, so that's the problem, right? We're stuck in this chemical hole that we kind of dug for ourselves. The usual advice, just wait, do something small and easy, that stuff can actually make it worse. Like we just saw, chasing another easy reward can just dig that trough even deeper. So what's the real way out? What does the science say?
Well, the answer is completely the opposite of what you'd think. And this is where it gets really cool. The way to get your motivation back isn't to find more comfort. It's to intentionally and safely do something that kind of sucks. I like to call it the discomfort dividend. And this is the core idea from Dr. Huberman. By deliberately doing something that's even more effortful than the blah state you're already in, you trigger this massive rebound effect. It's like, instead of waiting for the hole to fill back up, you grab a shovel, dig it way deeper for just a second, and force a neurochemical landslide that fills it all the way back up to the top, almost instantly. You're basically forcing a hard reset on your brain. Now hold on, let me be 100% crystal clear about this, because this is the most important part. When we say painful, we are absolutely not talking about hurting yourself, causing tissue damage, or any kind of psychological harm. No way. We're talking about creating what's called limbic friction. You know, that deep internal resistance you feel to doing something you really don't want to do. The goal is to pick something that's safe, it's manageable, but your brain just finds it deeply unpleasant.
And this just shows you how radically different this approach is. Common advice is all about making things easier. Tidy your desk, they say, which, let's be honest, is usually just another way to procrastinate. Huberman's method flips that on its head. Instead of waiting, you force a new state right now. Instead of easier, you do something harder. And the classic example, a cold shower. Just the thought of it creates massive limbic friction for most of us, right? But by forcing yourself to do it, you shock your system and trigger that dopamine rebound that just snaps you out of that funk.
Okay, so a cold shower is an awesome reset button for when you're stuck in the moment. But what if you could upgrade your entire brain to be more procrastination-proof from the get-go? That's where we go from a short-term fix to the ultimate long-term strategy: consistent exercise. This isn't just about rebooting your software. This is about fundamentally upgrading your hardware. See, exercise works its magic on two different timelines, which is pretty amazing. First, you get the short-term, or transient effects. After just one workout for up to 2 hours, your mood is better, your focus is sharper, it's a quick win. But the real magic, the true transformation, comes from being consistent. Over months, you get persistent effects. I'm talking actual physical changes to the structure of your brain that make you better at focusing by default.
So let's look at how this literally builds a better brain. And I mean, literally. We throw the word rewiring around a lot, but here it means physically growing new neurons, strengthening the connections you already have, and even increasing the size of key parts of your brain that are responsible for getting things done. This is not a metaphor. This is biology.
So what does consistent aerobic exercise actually do? Well, it promotes neurogenesis, that's the birth of brand new brain cells. It boosts your cognitive control, that's the mental muscle that helps you ignore distractions and focus on what matters. It helps you handle stress better, which is a huge trigger for procrastination for so many of us. And incredibly, it actually increases the volume of your gray matter, the very stuff that does the thinking.
And what's really fascinating is where this growth is happening. It's not random. The biggest gains are in your prefrontal cortex. That's like the CEO of your brain that handles planning and decisions. Then there's the hippocampus, which is crucial for learning and memory, and the caudate nucleus, which is a key player in forming good habits. So exercise is literally beefing up the exact brain circuits you need to win the war against procrastination.
So, just how powerful is this? Get this. It's powerful enough to basically turn back time in your brain. So as we age, we tend to lose about 1 to 2% of the volume of our hippocampus every year. It's just a part of getting older. But one incredible study found that a year of regular aerobic exercise actually increased the size of the hippocampus by 2%. It didn't just stop the decline, it reversed it. You are literally building a bigger, younger, more powerful brain.
All right, let's boil this all down into a super simple, actionable plan. Your anti-procrastination toolkit has two main parts. First, for right now, when you're stuck in a rut, you have the reset button. That's your strategic dose of safe discomfort, like a cold shower, to jolt your dopamine system. And second, for the long game, you have the system upgrade, building a consistent exercise habit to fundamentally rewire your brain for focus and resilience.
And I want to leave you with this one last thought. Our entire culture tells us to seek comfort, to make things easy. But what if, when it comes to our own motivation, that instinct is the very thing that's trapping us? The science seems pretty clear. The road to more focus isn't paved with easy wins. It's built by getting better at doing hard things. So maybe, just maybe, by embracing a little intentional discomfort, you can unlock a level of motivation you never even knew you had.